Hey YouTube, this is Hobbyman360, and today I wanted to talk to you about hiking survival. Now, this video was actually inspired by another YouTuber by the name of the Sensible Prepper. He did a video called the Minimal Hiking Survival Kit, which I thought was a great video. He shared some really good statistical information, and it inspired me to do some research, and then I decided, hey, I'm going to share this knowledge that I was able to glean. Now, basically, the statistics that he gave were from the National Park Service, and the National Park Service actually has some additional stuff. You can go online, just Google it, you'll find whatever you need. But for this particular study, they did I read an article that they did from 2004 to 2014. Now, in that time period, they had what's called search and rescue missions, or SAR missions, that they talked about in the article. Now, for that 10-year period, they had 46,609 SAR missions. Now, of those, they had the SAR missions. There were 13,957 injuries or illnesses that caused that response, and also 1,578 deaths, which I thought was pretty staggering. And the total cost for that was $51.4 million to the National Park Service. Now, they also broke it down for 2013 with a little bit more information. And for 2013, they had 2,348 SAR missions. And they also polled the activities that people were doing for these missions, or basically to cause being rescued. And the number one activity to be doing to end up needing rescued was day hiking, which kind of boggled my mind because you're usually not going very far or for very long, but it's kind of a like tourists, inexperienced, go out type deal for day hikes and end up having issues. So for the day hikes, they had 1,379 day hike rescues, and of those there were 588 injuries and 27 fatalities. Now, the one that I thought would have had kind of more issues was actually long-term backpacking, and for that they had only 409 rescue missions, 238 injuries, and 10 fatalities. So it more than halves it in some areas. Which, just like I said, it boggled my mind. I would have thought greater distance, longer period of time, you would have more issues. So now, the silver lining to all of that, with the search and rescue missions, they find 92% of people within 24 hours. And only 19 cases in 2013 resulted in people being lost for longer than a week. And one of the big things that they suggested is, if you find that you're lost or if you're injured and you need help, stay where you're at. And there's reasons for that, but generally they're going to find you sooner if you're close to the trail than if you wander off in a direction because you're lost, and then it makes the search area a lot bigger. So now, the reasons for those search and rescues, the vast majority, are due to some sort of a mechanical injury when it's an injury-related one, or dehydration as far as illness. People they're inexperienced, they don't know how much water they should carry, or not enough water for a group, and somebody ends up being dehydrated, or lack of electrolytes. Also, physical ability. A lot of times people go out and they don't realize, hey, I'm at a higher altitude, I'm not used to this, I physically, I think I can make it, but they can't. And also the terrain, not understanding the terrain, whether it's hills, slopes, rocky, loose, whatever it is. That's one of the reasons why people end up with mechanical injuries, is not understanding the terrain and having the proper footwear. And also the proper equipment, just again, not being prepared at all, not having a pack, not having the water, not having the right shoes. Now, with that, I came up with some basically ideas for what you need to do or some things that you can do to not become one of those statistics somewhere. Now, first off, have a plan and write it down. You want the trail that you're going to be on, you want the parking lot you're going to park in, you want the approximate start time of your hike, the approximate end time of your hike, and then take that, like I said, write it down, give it to somebody, and then tell multiple people, because sometimes one person isn't enough. And with that, that will give a better chance of you being in the 92% of the people that get found within 24 hours. Just making sure somebody knows where you're at. Also, carry enough water. The average person needs somewhere between 40 to 64 ounces of water a day. Now, if you're hiking, you're probably going to be sweating, exerting more physical energy. You need to carry enough water. So, again, 64 ounces is a decent number, but having the ability to purify water so that if you come across a water source, you can get additional water. Hey, it'll help you in the long run. First aid, you know, it's not. Most people don't think about first aid other than maybe a small boo-boo kit. I mean, a boo-boo kit is good. Don't get me wrong, but having some sort of a trauma kit is also a good idea. You know, a tourniquet, a pressure bandage, things to help you with mechanical injuries, an ankle wrap, or, you know, add some painkillers to your kit. And also get the training. Just because you have a first aid kit or a trauma kit doesn't really mean anything if you don't know how to use it. So there are places you can go. I mean, Google emergency medical classes. In my area, there's one I've been to. I took my wife to. I've been to it twice. There's also first aid classes through the American Red Cross. Take the time, if you're going to be day hiking or doing any activity outdoors, take the time to get the training. And lastly, have a map with the trails that you're going to be on. You can get those on Amazon or through other online sources. Get a trail map, understand it, have a compass. It doesn't have to be a super expensive compass, just a way to tell which way is north. And then a GPS is great. I don't have one for my area because if I have to walk, if I have to walk for an hour in one direction and not run in, and I don't run into a road or a house or a business, I can walk an hour and at least get to a gas station. It's probably because I'm walking in a circle, so I don't necessarily need a GPS. I maybe just need a compass. But those are the things that you can do to not become a statistic. Now, I also did some additional research, and the National Backpackers Association has a really good comprehensive list online of things that they suggest that you should have. And so I put together a similar kit based on that, and then some of the stuff from the Sensible Preppers video, and I'm going to share that with you as well. Now, unless you are going out for a really long time, you don't need to get crazy for a day hike. Now, there are some things that I would suggest at least keeping in your car in addition to a day hike bag. Now, that would be have rain gear. Being uncomfortable in bad weather, it's not good. I hate being cold. Never have liked being cold. Most people don't. I'd rather be hot and sweaty than freezing to death. So one thing you can do, have some sort of rain gear like frog togs. Now, frog togs or some sort of rain gear is good in addition to, say, like a fleece. Because you can take a fleece with a rain jacket and have basically a microclimate that will allow you to stay relatively warm if you're in an environment that gets cold at night. Like, again, you may not get rescued for 24 hours if something bad happens. So being able to stay warm overnight is good, and being able to stay dry to keep from getting hypothermia. So having that, just even if you're not going to keep it in your bag, having it in your vehicle is good. Now, also, With that, I like to keep an extra set of sunglasses. I keep just cheap eye protection, fog or smoke lenses in my vehicle, just to have extra sunglasses. They're not my main ones. They're just in case I forget them, in case I break them. My main sunglasses. I have a backup. I don't like having sun in my eyes. I don't like being miserable on a trail. So having that's always a good idea. Also, keep some sort of a stocking cap or a beanie or something that you can keep your head warm. You don't necessarily have to keep it in your bag. I keep one in my bag as well, but I have an extra one in my vehicle, along with a brimmed hat. It doesn't have to be your favorite hat. It just has to be a hat in case you've left your other one at home, or maybe you're going out with a friend and they need one. Having that in your vehicle is always good. Now, as far as bags go, you don't have to spend a ton of money, especially if you're not, I'm out every weekend day hiker. This, in and of itself, something about this size, a hydration pack. This is an Ozark Trail hydration pack. It's about $34. I've been very impressed with this particular bag. I have two of these, one for myself and one for my wife. My son is not quite big enough to carry this size bag yet, but something like this is good. Like I said, I've been impressed with it from family trips, walks to the zoos, walks on the trails. It's been nice. It's got plenty of pockets. It's got an outside pocket, sunglasses pocket, and two main pockets. And this, like I said, it's a hydration pack. So this has a 2-liter hydration pouch to it, which again, you need water. And having a minimum of 64 ounces is going to help you. So, and again, it doesn't have to be expensive. This works. And also having, like I said, not just the hydration pouch in the hydration carrier, but having the ability to purify water is going to go a long way. So I have a pouch here that I keep a Sawyer water filter in. $20 Walmart, or I was able to get a daily deal on Amazon and got a pack of 4 of these. So get yourself a filter so that you can have the water so that you don't end up dehydrated. Now, next up, I have my kind of emergency and trauma type stuff. Now here I have in this red bag, I like to keep my trauma and medical stuff in a red bag so it's easy to see. I have some nitrile gloves, I have a tourniquet, and an Israeli pressure bandage. Now I also have a boo-boo kit. Now this boo-boo kit is just a $1 Johnson & Johnson Walmart special boo-boo kit. They have them in their travel section. It has Band-Aids, some wipes, and some ointment, and a little bit of gauze. For what it is, especially if it's inexpensive, you use it once, and then you can just go get another one for $1. Now in this boo-boo kit, I also keep some additional items in almost an Altoids tin style survival kit type deal. I have a signal mirror, a ferrocenium rod, a bright mini Bic. I like bright colors anytime with any of my stuff, just so that if I set it down, I don't lose it. And then, like I said, Iowa, I don't necessarily need a compass. But just having something that can give me general direction so I'm not walking in circles, just having it, why not? Now, for additional signaling and emergency purposes, I have an orange vest. Now, the orange vest is great for signaling. Bright colors are great for signaling. So for this, I actually had an old hunting vest that I decided to toss in here. I can put it on so that I am highly visible, or I can cut it up into pieces to make a much larger signal. Now I also have in this little bag here, I've got a 75-cent rain poncho. If I decide not to take my frog togs out on the trail with me, and all of a sudden there's a storm, or if I need rescuing and I'm out for more than 24 hours and a storm comes up, I can cover myself up and get out of the weather. And then I also have an emergency space blanket in the same bag, just to keep myself out of the elements, keep myself warm, in addition to my appropriate clothing. Now here I have kind of a utilities bag. This is just a pouch that I keep some items in just in case. I'm not necessarily going to have a belt knife, but the National Hiker Society actually suggests at least a multi-tool. So for this kit, I put a Leatherman Sidekick in it. You know, a belt knife or a great big bushcraft knife might be great, but for the most part, all you're going to need is a multi-tool and just a backpacking type situation. It will open pretty much anything you need, and something like this, you know, it has a saw in it and two blades, so you've got quite a bit of versatility in here, along with screwdrivers. But for the most part, you're not going to need a screwdriver, but it's nice to have options with you. So multi-tool is my blade of choice. Now for illumination, I have a light stick that I can either use for signaling, or I can use it as a alternative light source, you know, in an emergency. Again, that 24-hour period. These you can get at Walmart. I forget the burn time on them. I think they're at least a 9-hour light. Now I also have a headlamp. I'm not a huge fan of carrying a flashlight or a mini flashlight. I like having a headlamp just for hands-free light if I'm on a trail at night or, you know, at dusk. It's better to have two hands when you're walking, so that you have two hands to catch yourself or two hands to assist somebody. You know, your medical kit may not be for you, it may be for somebody else. And also a bandana. Now you can use it as an impromptu bandage if you need to, but otherwise, one thing I found in all the time that I spent out in the woods and outdoors, I really like having some sort of a cloth that I can wipe my face, wipe my hands, get wet, put it around my neck, things like that. So having a bandana is a must for me. Now, I also have some cordage type materials. Bank line, I'm a huge fan of just the bank line versus the 550 cord. I think it's more versatile, and I'm more likely to use it and not feel like I'm wasting it if I have the bank line. So just a good length of bank line. I think this is about 100 feet of bank line. And then some Gorilla Tape. I like Gorilla Tape because it's versatile. If I need to fix something on the go, or you know, make a quick little band-aid for myself in case I run out of boo-boos, it's good to have. Plus, you can break it up. I've seen this where you can break it up and use it to start a fire. Now, 55-gallon drum liner. Not everybody is going to think to put this in their kit, but bushcrafters, this is a must for just about everybody. So for me, I put a 55-gallon drum liner in pretty much every bag that I have. If I need to kneel in damp grass, or kneel in the snow, or sit somewhere where it's not exactly dry depending on the environment, or have something to sleep on top of, a barrier in between me and the ground, I like having a 55-gallon drum liner. Plus, you can use it as a tarp to build a shelter. You can make a microclimate with it. They're just too versatile to pass up. So this is one thing that, again, I have in all my bags, but for this particular hiking pack, I decided why not. Now, lastly, I have a few things that are a little geared towards comfort items that I think just about every bag should have, especially for hiking. You never know when you might need it. I like the ability to deal with several different possibilities. So for this particular pouch right here, I have some kind of hygiene, personal hygiene, and you know, personal comfort items. Now that includes a couple of pill bottles. I've got some aspirin and some ibuprofen. You never know when ibuprofen and Tylenol. You never know when you're going to have a headache. You never know when you're going to end up hurting yourself and need just that little bit of relief to pull through. So I went ahead and put some pills in this kit. I also have bug spray, just the quick little pocket-sized bug spray, and some sunscreen. Now, a lot of people don't think about you know, skin cancer until, you know, it happens to them. So I'm telling you, it's a good idea to have sunscreen. I've seen it in the firearms industry with people that spend a lot of time on ranges. If you spend a lot of time outdoors, just have sunscreen with you. So, in addition to those, I also keep some travel-sized toothbrush and toothpaste when you're done eating. If you come across something, some nasty water, and you want to brush your teeth after you tried purifying it. Whatever it is, especially if you're out for that 24-hour or more period, having the ability to do a little bit of personal care will help you mentally. Along with that, I have some wet ones. For the most part, parks and stuff are going to have areas for you to go to the bathroom unless you're out really way out in the sticks for more than a day or so. So having something to be able to take care of your tail, or wipe under your arms. A baby wipe shower is definitely a must if you're trying to keep your morale up over a period of time. I also packed some fingernail clippers and tweezers. You get a hangnail or you end up getting that just something's wrong with your hands. Having the ability to groom yourself in some way is a positive mental builder. So I added those to this kit. Something I forgot earlier in my signaling stuff, I actually have this whistle attached to the outside of my bag. I thought I'd add that in right at the end. Again, visual and audible signaling is a must. Now, as far as food goes, it's a good idea to pack calories. Now, if you pick up some sort of a bar, or if you have a pre-planned meal, or whatever it is you want to put in your kit, that's great. But in addition to that, just a couple of extra things are always a good idea. Having just a freeze-dried meal, just again, in case you're out for that 24-hour or more period, having some additional calories, some comfort food is a good idea. So for this, I went ahead and got macaroni and cheese freeze-dried. The lifespan of it is a long time, so just having it in the kit and forgetting about it works out. Also, I put some tea packets and some coffee packets in this bag. Also, having some electrolytes, like I said earlier with hydration, having some sort of electrolyte packet, Gatorade packet, whatever it is, having that in your bag is always a good idea for rehydration. Now, I also added a collapsible cup, which wasn't too, it's just I think $1, just to have so that you can drink out of if you are using your mixes. I don't necessarily like mixing any sort of an electrolyte pack into a water bladder, because you end up, if you don't get to it right away when you get back, you could have some issues with some bacteria and mold. And then also for this kit, not necessarily a necessity unless you're going to actually be out for a period of time, but for the most part, day hikers don't necessarily need it. I packed a stainless steel just nesting cup, just in case. You can also have, like I have here, an additional Nalgene bottle in case you want some additional water. You can get a Nalgene bottle and like a pouch to carry it in, and put that on the side of your bag. And then you have a cup that you can boil water in. This one from Wilderness Outfitters, or Self-Reliance Outfitters, that I got with the lid is I enjoy this particular one. I have several of these, but I'm not doing a review of that. But just having something like this that you can boil water would give you the opportunity, if you needed it, to have water, to have additional food and cook. So it's a good idea to have it in your bag. So just a couple of things in closing. I would definitely suggest going with affordable gear. Go with affordable gear that isn't necessarily going to be something that you need to pluck things out of. If you have multiple bags, multiple outdoor activities, try and get stuff in a hiking bag that you can keep in there and not keep taking out. If you have a trauma kit, have multiple trauma kits. Don't just take it out of your hiking bag and put it into something else. Just have stuff that's affordable in your bag that you can leave there and grab and go, so that you don't end up forgetting something. Also, Having a kit is going to basically give you a level of comfort as far as going out. Having it will encourage you to go out and use it, get outdoors more. And something to think about, it may not be just your life that it saves. It may be a family member, it could be a friend, it could be a perfect stranger that you end up needing to use your kit to save. So having that stuff, just it's a good idea all around. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope that you liked the information. I hope it sparked an interest and you put together a kit similar to this. Please comment down below with your ideas of what you might add or what you might take out. Remember, this kit was more tailored towards where I'm at in Iowa. I don't have to deal with great distances, so stuff like GPS I didn't have to worry about. So please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video.